candy? Want candy now?
What is going on, everybody? Archie coming back at you again today with a new episode of Record Keeper Relic Review. We are finally covering the Final Fantasy V 4-as-1 banner. This banner is going to have some insane relics for Bartz, as well as an amazing second USB for Faris. So we're getting into that era now where we're getting BSB 3s. Bartz will see that, and Faris having a second USB. So tons of excitement on this banner. I know tons of my friends and people were saving up to really go hard on this one, and hopefully you guys do have some good luck. We'll leave the video with some positivity here. Now, I did skip the second Final Fantasy XI banner. My interest in Final Fantasy XI is relatively low. There were some good relics for Lion and Ayame, so don't get it twisted. It was a reasonable banner, but with this event now, then 4 and 6 coming up, I really just couldn't find the motivation to make any pulls on that banner, and just overall, Final Fantasy XI is not really my thing. But with that being said, I do have enough for 2 draws on this banner. Hopefully we get lucky, but I guess we'll have to find out. We're going to quickly cover the relics in the banner. It should not take very long because most of the relics are insanely good and speak for themselves, so very easy to breeze through. And pretty much everything from the LMRs up is going to be a great relic. SSBs, not super awesome on this banner, but hopefully, like I said before, you guys get some amazing luck pulling some of the top-end items on this banner here. So let's dive right in. I do not have the percent information for the drops because the event just dropped and I am making my recording right as it happened. But we do have the amazing, poorly named, but amazing 6-star chicken knife relic. This is going to be Bartz's USB, which in tandem with Cloud's USB on a roaming warrior completely breaks and destroys the game. Now, there are a couple other pieces like his LMR and one of his BSBs, at least like his new BSB 3 preferably, that you're going to need to assemble this perfect weapon here. But this is just absurd. So you do have 6-star, it is a dagger, 165 attack, so the stats are, well, they're amazing for a dagger, but in terms of other weapons, you know, nothing crazy there. But the magic is all happening right here, you guys. The Chosen Traveler USB, 10 physical wind, water, fire, and earth attacks to one target, temporarily reduce the delay of the user's actions, and enter Spellblade Barrage EX mode. Spellblade Barrage EX mode temporarily raises the user's attack a moderate amount and causes wind, water, fire, earth, Spellblade abilities to trigger a follow-up attack. Now, when you combine this with his LMR that enables triple casting of Spellblade abilities, and then combine that with a regular record materia that allows double casting Spellblade, the possibilities here are just ridiculous. They're silly. It's really stupid. You can see Bartz doing a theoretical 30 to 32 attacks, and with Cloud's USB breaking the damage cap on every single one, you're potentially looking at the 500,000 damage mark, maybe even more, just depending on what event and how you stack your imperils. So this is by far, along with Cloud's USB, the most powerful offensive combination of soul breaks you can possibly have in the game. It is an amazing relic. I have absolutely nothing for Bartz, so I'm kind of really shooting in the dark here when I make my pulls. I highly doubt I'm going to get all 3 of the necessary relics, being his LMR, this chicken knife, and at least one BSB for him to make him completely viable. I guess I doubt that's going to happen, but let's keep our fingers crossed here and move on to the next relic. It's going to be the second USB for Faris here, the Fairy Bow. 6-star, 159 attack, 35 magic, 35 mind, and you do have the small chance to confuse, which is not super useful. Like, a lot of high-end bosses are going to be resistant to this. It'll help on trash mobs, maybe a little bit. And you have the synergy bonus of getting the small boost to wind damage, so in Final Fantasy V events, that's going to stack quite nicely. Faris is an amazingly useful, if not one of the best supporting characters in the game for debuffing, and as well as she can battery. So again, amazing character right here. You got the USB Pirate Princess, 9 range physical wind, non-elemental attacks to random targets, temporarily lower their wind resistance, and lower their attack, magic, and mind a large amount. This is another just insanely useful USB. You have the attacks, which are okay, but the Try debuff is going to stack so well. I don't think there's anything in the game that's not going to stack with this. So you do have that, which is amazingly useful, and the Wind Imperil as well. So if you're combining this with Bartz, with Cloud USB Roaming Warrior, and as well maybe Zac for Lucky Stars and his Imperil, you're just going to be able to pump out, again, just such a ridiculously insane amount of damage that it's hard to understand how this doesn't break the game. I mean, I guess it doesn't break the game because not very many people are going to have all of these tools at their disposal, but for the people that do, it's Magicite dungeons are going to be pretty much easy at this point. You're going to be able to breeze through them with all the proper components together. It's just going to be ridiculous. Now, not all Magicites, but all the ones that these elements and the Spellblade stuff is going to be useful for, you're just going to flat out destroy them. Like, the hardest content in the game is going to be a stroll through a park. Literally. So, another just amazing USB. Hoping for that one as well. Again, I don't really have anything for Faris. My Final Fantasy V synergy is awful right now. I only have Galif's Super Soul Break, which would be a dupe for me on this banner. And I have some stuff for X-Death. Not anything really great, but... So yeah, we're hoping for good luck here on this banner. And we definitely want that USB right there. Both USBs if we can pull out with them. And some other stuff also. So next up here, we do have Bartz's new BSB 3, the Great Sword. It is 141 attack, no bonus effects, but you have an amazing burst soul break here. The latent power, 8 physical earth, not elemental attacks to one target. Temporarily infuse the user with the power of earth and grant haste burst mode to the user. Now combine that with the Spellblade burst abilities here. You have the Sundering Spellblade, 4 physical earth and wind attacks to one target. Increase the damage of the user's Spellblade abilities a small amount for 2 turns. That is an awesome DPS command 1 right there. You get the damage buff, which will stack with pretty much all the other damage buffs you can apply in the game. And then you get 4 attacks as well. Whirling Sands, they've taken the bargain and they've one-upped it for BSB 3s. There are no negative consequences to using this whatsoever, and you get 3 physical earth and wind attacks to one target, raise the user's attack a moderate amount, and resistance a small amount. So forget about bargains, we now have amazing BSB 2 commands incoming here. 3 attacks to one target, and it's a Spellblade. And you get a buff that's going to stack with his Burst Command 1 buff and an amazing amount of other buffs that you're going to be throwing out as well. So this BSB 3 here is exceptionally good, one of the top ones, and it is pretty necessary to really complete the Bartz full combo here. Now you could get away with doing it with one of his other BSBs, but for the most effect, this is going to be the way to go right here. All these stacking attack and damage buffs, along with the USB and its buffs, and the materias, it's absurd. I know I've said it too many times now already, but next up here, we do have a new BSB for Dorgan, Dorgan's Redoubt. You have heavy armor, 17 attack, 141 defense, 96 resistance, and no other stats, with a small boost to earth damage. Now, this armor as well, going back to my Final Fantasy 15 episode, this will benefit Gladiolus as well. So if you get this armor and you want to use it for synergy with your Final Fantasy 15 Gladiolus team, this will help him out as well. But for Final Fantasy 5 and its synergy Sid missions, this is amazingly useful for stacking with that Bartz combo. Do have the Uncharted Lands right here. Lower the earth resistance of all targets, so you have an AoE Earth Imperil. Raise the attack of all allies a moderate amount, defense a small amount, and grant haste burst mode to the user. So this dual buff is going to stack with all of Bartz's buffs on his BSB 3 as well as his USB, and provide an Earth Imperil, which is just going to, again, push his damage just through the roof. So again, if you have all these tools to maximize this combo, your game is effectively going to be broken at this point. Your damage numbers are just going to be ridiculous. Next up here, we have Bartz's BSB 2 from the last Final Fantasy V banners. It is the Grand Helm, 17 attack, 115 defense, 102 resistance, no other stats, and unfortunately the bonus is synergy dependent, small boost to water damage, but that will help out for Final Fantasy V Torments and Sid missions on the Final Fantasy V events here, so it's not terrible, at least it has something. You have the Woken Water, 8 physical water non-elemental attacks to one target, temporarily infuse the user with the power of water, and haste burst mode to the user. You got Smash Dive, physical damage to one target, lower its attack a large amount, and temporarily raise the user's attack a large amount. And Spellblade Torrent, so this is going to be another BSB that's going to stack amazingly well with his USB, 4 physical water non-elemental attacks to one enemy. Not as good as the new BSB 3, but in a water-based situation, this is obviously the one that you're going to want to use. So it makes Bartz just so versatile. The fact that he features those 4 elements and can take multiple different options with him going into different dungeons just makes him one of the best, if not the best, Spellblade characters in Final Fantasy Record Keeper. It's really the 3 favorite characters in Japan are Bartz, Cloud, and Lightning, and we can definitely see that transferring over into our global version of the game here, because the relics for those 3 characters, especially when you combine them with each other, is just ludicrous. It is insane. So this is definitely a banner that's going to warrant your pulls. If you're considering it, just make some pulls. I mean, there are going to be some people that aren't interested in this stuff or don't need it and still have other options to do ridiculous damage. But again, this banner is pure gold right here. Legend Materia for Bartz here. This is almost an essential piece to his combo here to maximize the damage output that you're going to want to see. You have the heavy armor, 17 attack, 142 defense, 97 resistance. Maximilian, I don't know if I said the name of it. But the Legend Materia here, Fragments of Grace, very small chance for Spellblade abilities to trigger 3 times. If his USB is active, all Spellblade abilities trigger a follow-up attack as well. This is where he gets that ability to do potentially upwards of 30 some odd attacks off of one cast. So this Legend Materia right here, ridiculously good. It's really amazing how much stupidly good gear they're giving to Bartz here. It's not to say he doesn't deserve it. He's a great character, but holy crap, you guys. Triple cast. That's really, really good. So not much else to say about that one. It is quintessential to his combo and his setup, so hopefully you do get it. We got Faris's Epaulette next. Light armor, 17 attack, 115 defense resistance. Small boost to wind damage, always in effect. It's going to be great for synergy no matter who's wearing it. And pretty standard light armor stats on it there. Warrior Princess, increase damage up to a moderate amount proportional to the number of stat debuffs on the target. This one is unfortunately not anywhere near as useful as Bartz's Legendary Materia Relic, but this is still quite good. Faris is going to have tons of debuffs out on the target, and they pretty much all stack with each other, so having this as a passive effect that's kind of always going to be providing some benefit is still good. You know, it's not as good as double casting, but honestly, Faris is not a character that would make great use of a double cast mechanic. Being a hard support, she doesn't really do, you know, a DPS role, so you're not going to really need that on her. This will benefit her much better and will provide pretty much a constantly active bonus. So it is a good Legend Materia Relic. Wouldn't mind having it, or anything for Faris, really. Unfortunately, this banner doesn't feature a lot of other good stuff for Faris besides her USB and that Legendary Materia Relic, so I'm still missing out on her BSB, and even her unique Soul Break is fairly good. So let's check out the first SSB here. Dorian's Blade, Sword, 131 attack, no other stats, small boost to wind damage, always in effect. That is useful for a plethora of wind users in this game. You have the Winds of Home, Super Soul Break, 6 physical wind attacks to random targets, temporarily lower the user's defense a moderate amount, and raise the attack and magic of all allies a moderate amount. So it's basically Onion buff with an attack and a self debuff on it. Not really the greatest Super Soul Break, although it is a great Final Fantasy V source of the Onion buff, and because you will most likely be roaming Warrioring Cloud USB with your ideal Final Fantasy V team, this does provide some versatility here. However, if you get Dorgan's BSB, you're going to want to concentrate all of your Soul Break gauge into using that for the Earth Imperil to stack with Bartz. So this one can be situationally useful. If you're not going for the Earth Imperil and you need that Onion buff, you could theoretically get away with using this one here, making it not bad. Not great. Unfortunately, it does have that debuff on it, but it is not bad. Next up here, Super Soul Break for Faris. Faris's Bracers, 26 attack, 18 magic, 92 defense, 88 resistance, 19 mind, no bonus effects, and we have the Serpent's Gale, 4 ranged physical wind and lightning attacks to all targets and temporarily lower their wind resistance. This Super Soul Break may have been good at one point, but at this point it is completely replaced by her USB 2. Since the USB 2 features the Tri-Stat debuff and the Wind Imperil, there is absolutely no reason for you to use this Super Soul Break whatsoever if you have that USB 2. You will never see usage of this again, but you have the mastery points, so that is, you know, maybe worth a little bit, but hopefully you guys do not get trolled by this relic on your draws here. It, like I said, has been completely replaced and is pretty much non-functional at this point. Inner Peace, Jujutsu Gi. We have light armor here for Galuf, 17 attack, 114 defense resistance, no bonus effects, and you got the Inner Peace SSB here. Temporarily raise the critical hit chance of all allies a large amount, grant them major regen, and infuse the user with the power of fire. The buff on it is really good. That critical hit chance really, you know, is the notable feature of this relic here. Other than that, this is kind of like a troll draw on this banner here. It's the filler material. The stuff for Galuf is not what you're really going to be looking for on this banner, so hopefully you can avoid it in preference for some of the better stuff. But out of the 2 Super Soul Breaks on this banner for Galuf, I would say this one is more useful for being selfless and benefiting the team, and his other Super Soul Break is going to be pretty impressive right here, the Titan's Gloves, but it's definitely more selfish. We have 126 attack, no bonus effects, Unshaken Resolve, 4 physical attacks to 1 target, remove all buffs and debuffs from the user, and temporarily grant them invulnerability, and you raise their attack a large amount. So very selfish. Now you can solo bosses using this Super Soul Break with Galuf. I've seen it done. Galuf along with Celes are the 2 best characters if you are planning just for fun to solo bosses, but you will need this relic if you want to do that. The invincibility is really the highlight of it, so he's unkillable. You cannot add buffs to him or, you know, do anything else to him while this is active, so kind of awkward relic here. Like I said, it is reasonably good, but you know, I don't know. I already have it. It's a dupe on this banner, not something that I would want to see more of. That is all the items on the banner here. So we will start off with our customary 100 gem draw and cross our fingers here and hope we see some magic on this banner. I did fairly well on the Final Fantasy 15 banner, but I didn't see a single BSB, so it'd really be great to see some Burst Soul Breaks. Fortunately, we have the 3-star here, so we haven't really made a good 100 gem draw in quite a long time. It's no good, no bueno. Well, hopefully that is not a sign of things to come. Let's start with the Mithril first here. I got enough for 2 draws. Let's see what happens. Oh god, hopefully we don't get the shaft here. I'm not really going in expecting anything here. My Final Fantasy V synergy is just god-awful. Okay, well, we came out with something amazing. Let's see here. We 2 out of 11 with a 6-star relic. That's pretty lucky for a first draw here. Get through all the riffraff, and what's this? We got the useless Faris Bracers. So we did manage to get trolled because we got Faris's USB. So the one relic completely invalidates the other one. So this is like a kick in the nuts right here. We'll have some mastery points for Faris, but Pirate Princess, it is pretty useful. Unfortunately, it's the only thing that I have for Faris to make her relevant right now. So we're going to need a little bit more than that. Just cross your fingers. We'd really like to see some stuff for Bartz here. Lord of mercy. Lord have mercy. Let's see how this one goes here. I've been seeing a lot of 2 out of 11s recently. Oh my goodness! What is going on here? 2 more 6 stars. So again, we got the shaft in terms of BSBs, but this game really wants me to have all the 6-star relics, it seems. Not that I can use them by themselves. Another Faris bow. What the hell is going on, man? I have no idea what just happened. That kind of sucks. That actually does kind of suck. Well, that's all the resources I have for this banner. Unfortunately, our Bartz is still not going to see any action. It's not very encouraging. I'm going to have to throw that out there, Dina. It's pretty sad. But RNG, you know, there's not much you can do about it. Whatever happens, happens, and you just kind of have to roll with the punches. So, I guess we'll be boosting up Faris here. I hope you guys had a lot better luck than me. It's kind of awkward, these pulls right here. But in the meantime, this is Archie. If you enjoyed the episode today, which I hope you did, throw me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. I'd love to see you again on future videos. You hit the little bell icon, you get them notifications, so you'll always see stuff like this when it pops up. Hope you guys do have a great day, and I guess I'll be seeing you next time for the next episode. Have a good one, guys. Peace out.